hello. Welcome. I'm Kat Miller, and in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you some fun ways to reflect on 2020 and the year that has been. Now, we're all aware of the challenges, the hard things that people have faced. It's been an incredibly turbulent year and really tough for a lot of people. So I want to acknowledge that straight up and wish you a really safe and happy end of the year. And also give you the opportunity to reflect on all the good things that happened this year, because I'm sure that there's many. So despite what your year's been like, I want to share with you 10 powerful questions that you can ask yourself at the end of the year. And I'd love it if you could engage with the session and for it to be interactive so that we can all inspire and encourage each other for the year ahead. So in the next Facebook Live that I'm going to be doing, I'm going to be sharing a vision process and a goal setting process, and we're going to be looking forward, but in this live we're going to be looking backwards so that we can really have a look back and see how far we've come, what we've learned, how we've grown. And so if you are wanting some kind of journal prompts to take some time to reflect over this season, over this holiday season, about your year, I'm going to give you some tips on that. And also, I just want you to really take the time to celebrate everything that you've achieved, the small things, the big things, all of it. So please be really active in the comments and let's make it really interactive and fun. Hi Lisa, oh thank you. I thought I'd grab a hat today and just get into the Christmas spirit, and I just want to cheers you all as well. Cheers to an incredible year. And I know that some of you are still working. I should like drink after I've cheers, right? Some of you are still working, some of you are finished, some of you are having time off, some of you aren't. Whatever you're doing, I think this is a beautiful time to reflect back and look at the year that's been. So here are some fun ways to reflect on your year. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Caroline. Thanks for the beautiful comments. So I want to share with you a few different ways that I was reflecting this year. And I'm going to be doing a whole date with myself. I do this every year where I go into my favorite cafe or a park, sit under a tree and just actually take out pen and paper and do a reflection. So there are 3 ways that I thought of that you could reflect on your year. The first one is to do a solo date with yourself, which is my favorite way to do it, is to go away by myself, just go somewhere out of the house and sit there with pen and paper and actually just have a reflection and just write till your hand gets sore. So that's one way you can do it. The second way is you can do a group reflection, and I like doing this as well. I just tied up my Influencers in a Circle program for the year. We're going to have 2 sessions off, so we meet every Wednesday at 6:30, and we just went around and encouraged each other and spoke words of life over each other and just really spoke out what we admired in each other, that we see, like the growth that we saw throughout the year. And it was just heart melting hearing everybody sharing how they've grown, and I encourage them to think about where you were last year. So what I'd say to you is, where were you last year this time? Not physical, but if you think back to December 2019, obviously none of us knew what was about to happen, right? The craziness that was about to occur in the world, and we had no idea that in March the WHO would announce the pandemic and the impact that would have on our lives. So if you just think about that and how much has happened since then, and when you take yourself out on a date, or when you gather in a small group, which is what I'll be doing with my friends as well, is reflecting back. I encourage you to really acknowledge yourself for how you've handled one of the craziest years of history, because every one of us was affected, right? Every one of us was impacted. Every one of us had loss because we had our freedoms taken away from us. So even though 2020 was one of my favorite years because it was so incredible. Obviously, we all had a sense of loss, and there were things that shut down, there were changes that were made, there was stress, there was all sorts of things. And even if you haven't been affected directly, knowing someone that's had COVID-19, all of us have had plans ruined, plans changed, a lot of fight and flight. Our bodies have experienced a lot. So just to give yourself that grace and kindness, your nervous system has been through the ringer, because that's the way we are designed as humans to process things. And so I just want you to kind of acknowledge yourself for everything that you have been through. Acknowledge that it was probably one of the craziest years of your life, and just give yourself some really good love. If you haven't given yourself a hug lately, then do that. And the third way that I thought of doing a reflection is to do a video reflection. So, you could just jump on Zoom by yourself and record yourself a video and watch it in a year's time, or in a few years' time, or maybe show it to your kids in 5 years' time. So a video reflection is a really nice way to do it. Or you could do a live video, a Facebook live video, and just share with your community some of your highlights of the year, some of your reflections. So those are a few fun ways that you can reflect on your year. Do a written solo reflection date, a group reflection date where everybody has a turn, which is really fun, or do a video. There are 3 kind of steps that I go through that might help you when you're doing your reflection. The first thing I do is I go through my calendar right from January, and I just search through the calendar, and I take I was doing it today actually, you take your workbook or piece of paper, and you just write down. So I wrote down like the crewing, the courses, kind of like the highlights, the big things, the events that I ran, the holidays, and I just wrote everything down. So you first of all kind of mine through your calendar to just see everything you did. And you can use search. So I searched for webinars and searched for certain things that I'd done throughout the year, just to see how many events I'd actually run and how many Facebook Lives I'd done, and just kind of compiled a list so I could see it in front of me. The second thing you can do is you can have an actual logical process. So I actually put mine on a spreadsheet, and I put filters on like a real geek. I love spreadsheets. And I worked out like how many hours I crewed and how many hours I ran my own events. And I just like that stuff. I like looking at how many days holiday I had and how many days I worked and all of that kind of thing. And then once you've done that logical process, then you might want to do some type of creative process. Like I saw my friend Jessica Lee, I think it was today, she did a beautiful vision board, and she had her whole day, and she had like Krovet Christmas and a picture of coffee and her whole timeline. And it was just a beautiful creative reflection of her life right now. So you got the logical process, and you can do some kind of creative process. You might want to do an actual, rather than a vision board, like you can do that for your future, but you might want to just summarize your year on one page, or what, one big piece of paper of like what 2020 was actually like. And then the third thing that I recommend that you do is to ask and answer some reflective questions, which is what I'm going to be sharing with you right now. So those of you who are on live, if you want to play along, there's a few of you on here. So the first question is, what went well for you this year? What actually went well for you this year? So those of you who are on live, what went well for you this year? What actually went well? What's one thing that went well for you? What's one thing that went well for you? There's lots of things that didn't go so well, right? There's always challenges, but what's something that went well for you? If you could just write that in the comments, and we'll share. Oh, thank you everybody for these lovely messages. Hello Donna, great to see you all here. Okay, so the first question is, what went well this year? Donna says, I got to rest during lockdown. That is a beautiful reframe of lockdown. I got to rest. That's something I loved about this year, is actually having the time to not be out and about all the time. Like saved on petrol, really got to know myself a lot more and how I am, like what are the non-negotiables and what is important to me. And what went well for me was, like, I did my last event in person in March. I did a 2 day, my very first 2 day weekend workshop, and then the WHO announced the pandemic, and so that was the last time I did in person. That was the last time I went to church. That was the last time so many things happened, was around that March period, obviously for all of us. And I was so grateful that I'd been to New Zealand in January, because I usually go every January. So it's really nice that I've been to New Zealand this year. I don't know when I'll be going again, but it was just so great to get that holiday in and then to shift everything online. And what went really well was the fact that so many people from other cities, other states, other countries joined me online. Like, I don't know if I would have done that if it wasn't for the lockdown. So that was incredible. Carolyn says business coaching. Oh, that's so good. Love that. Sandra, increased work in business. Yes, beautiful. So good, Sandra. Bella says it went well working from home in COVID. Nice. So many people really enjoyed working from home. So good. All right, question 2. What are you proud of? Like, what are you proud of? What can you say? I'm proud. I'm proud that I got through this season. I'm proud that I did my first Facebook Live, or I posted my first social media post, or I did my first webinar, or I did my first 10K month, or I joined the gym. What are you proud of? What are you actually proud of for 2020? What are you proud of? Like, please acknowledge yourself for being so proud. Oh, thank you, Pauline. What are you proud of? What I'm proud of is, I think, seeing the resilience of, like, right, that's happened, let's move on, and how quickly I just changed directions, or pivot is the word that they're all using, right? So I just pivoted really fast. I didn't dwell on it. I didn't complain. I got excited. That's what entrepreneurs do. Not excited that people were getting sick, not excited that there was a lockdown, but excited that entrepreneurs, this is what we're made of, you know. We're tough, we're resilient, we keep going, we push through, we find ways, we solve challenges. The leaders that are doing the best in the world, the most successful people, are the ones solving the biggest problems, you know. So I get turned on when there's a challenge. I'm like, right, let me at it. And this is my opportunity to be creative, to create solutions and not focus on the problem. And I really saw how much the work that I've done on myself this year impacted, because it's not what life is like when everything's calm, you know. Anyone can be calm and peaceful and joyous when there's nothing going wrong, right? But it's when the rubber hits the road, it's when the storms come, that we show what we're made of. And this is why I've done 10 bodybuilding competitions and moved countries 3 times and done these hard things, because it grows you and it forces you to step up. And that's what I'm proud of for 2020. Donna says, I'm proud I've finally got a coaching package together. Yay, that's so good. Pauline says, oh, my friendship with you. Oh, thanks, Pauline. Ran my first international seminar. That is amazing. Josh, proud of completing 4 MBA subjects. You should be so proud of that. Seriously. Val, proud of being support to my family. Awesome, Val. Merry Christmas, Melanie. So good to have you here. Okay, how have you grown this year? How have you grown this year? Actually, we'll change it to how have you grown this year personally? How have you personally grown this year? And then we'll make the next one professionally. So how have you grown this year personally? How I've grown this year personally is realizing what's important, realizing what matters. And I think we can get so caught up and so comfortable, right, in the way things are done, and we think that that's just going to keep carrying on. I attended Unleash the Power Within in September, and that was really challenging to look at some of like the stuff that you've got to deal with. You know, we've all got limiting beliefs, and I'm really working on myself and working on understanding myself and people better, and really wanting to obviously continue to grow and continue to extend kindness and grace and love and compassion to people who are different. That's something that I really grew in this year, was becoming more patient and more kind to people that are different, and judging myself less. And the more I judge, the less I judge myself, the less obviously we judge other people, which is super important. I'm just going to plug in my laptop. So how have you personally grown this year? Just pop that down. What do we got here? Sandra, I'm proud of how God led me through this year in business, life, and selling my home at a time when the world would say it's not a good time. Yeah. Proud of how I adapted to challenges consistently throughout the whole year. Amazing, Sandra. Thank you so much for sharing. That's beautiful. Caroline, stretched beyond what I ever thought possible. Caroline, I just want to acknowledge you. Caroline is such a help to me, and those of you who come to these lives regularly probably see Caroline on here because she's such a big supporter, and I so appreciate her. She does so much of my work. We work together, and I just want to say so much how much I appreciate you, Caroline. And it's been incredible seeing your growth this year and seeing you step out and step out and step out of the boat onto the water. And I know it's been scary. But I just want to acknowledge you. I think you're an amazing, amazing woman, and I am so excited to see what 2021 brings for you. I know it's going to be wild and amazing. Val, personal growth, improved patience, going with the flow more. Yes, I love that. Donna says, knowing I can handle things way beyond what I ever thought possible. Isn't that incredible? Donna, I just want to acknowledge you. You're in a family of 8 people. You are always smiling. And you're growing a business. Like, that is so incredible, and you already support a community. So well done. Awesome, awesome. All right, the next question. How have you grown this year professionally? How have you grown this year professionally? So what have you done professionally where you've actually felt the growth? I'm just putting that question in the comments. I think for me, it's just being able to build a strong community, which was really my desire. For years, I've desired a really amazing community, and I've now got that. And I love every single one of my clients. I love working with them all. I've said no to people throughout the year so I can just keep saying yes to the right people. And I've finally got a book of clients that is incredible. I don't look at anyone on the calendar and go, oh, I've got blah, blah. Like, no one, because I've been very selective. And that requires a lot of faith and trust to believe that working with the right people shapes your life. So I've let go of people that haven't been the right match in order to keep spaces open for the right people. Because one person, when you're running a community, a group program, like I'm doing so many group programs now, multiple different groups and different people, and I've got like the Amplify Your Influence community here, the public community, and then I've got 2 private communities. One is the Client Attraction Accelerator, and one is the Profit from Presenting Mastermind that I've been running, which was my launch this year. And so just seeing the power of community and people encouraging and inspiring each other has just been amazing. Val says professional growth, flexibility, adaptability. Oh, how good is that, Val? Interpersonal relationships, so good. Thank you for sharing. Caroline, oh, thank you. I'm honored. All right, so professionally, how have you grown? Okay, the next one, what are we up to? Number 5 is... Number 5, what did you learn? What did you learn this year? What did you actually learn? I did a lot of learning this year. I think that like learning can come as a byproduct of just life, right? Just doing stuff, being out there, business, relationships, you learn stuff. But in terms of investing in myself, I invested in 3 big programs, 3 big business programs that were quite an investment. And I just realized the power even more. Like I've always believed in the power of mentorship, but really seeing my growth, like my business just really exploded as soon as COVID hit, really. And that was only because I had great mentors and because I pivoted fast. But also, like attending so many courses and crewing so many courses. Like I assisted so many courses this year, and being part of the crew was an incredible experience. So I learned so much more about marketing, about copywriting, about Facebook ads, and there's so much more to learn. But I think it's really good to be specific on the skills that you've been improving on, and specifically the knowledge that you've gained in the year. Donna says, I actually have a fully fledged registered business. I had no idea there was so many components in business, right? No one warns you. I've learned so much from Kat and grown professionally every day. Thank you, Donna. Thank you. Awesome. All right. So next one is, what did COVID teach you? What did COVID teach you? Thank you, Josh, for this question. We were just working out up the road. I was like, what are some questions I can ask? And I really like this question. COVID really taught me the value of online technology. And I know that sounds really funny, but it's like we can sit at home and make money. Seriously, like we can do it. We can have a 6-figure business just sitting at home. And I think that's incredible. And I've realized it more and more through COVID. It also taught me not to take things for granted, like going to the gym, like hanging out with friends, like doing whatever I want. Like it made me so much more grateful for those things that maybe I used to take for granted. Val says, rejecting prospective clients, could they need a break? Someone of your quality to believe in them could make all the difference. Yeah, some people do. Some people definitely need someone just to believe in them. I'm very intuitive, and we've talked about this, Val, privately. I'm very intuitive in business and going on the gut feel of that feeling. And I want to work with leaders who are committed, coachable, and willing to learn and change. They don't have to know a whole lot. They could be struggling. Like I've taken on clients that are really struggling, that are having mindset blocks and all sorts of things, but I know that I can help them and I've got the skills to help them. If I don't feel like it's that I'm the best person to help them, it's not just for me, but it's for them as well, because I know that when I invest my time in people that are going to do the work and that are going to grow, that I know the impact that I'm having on the planet is much bigger. And that's related to my values. So I think about things very carefully in terms of my filter systems, and then really go with set requirements for clients. And I believe that all of us should do that, because we've only got a certain amount of hours in our week, and it's so important that we protect our own emotional energy and we go with what feels right. And if it feels right for you to give someone a break, then go for it. We all get to make that decision. That's one of the coolest things of being an entrepreneur. Val says, COVID, value of online, but also the limitations of the online space. Yeah, for sure. There's downsides to both. Like I love that people in New Zealand and England and America and all these people have come to my events. I do definitely miss the energy of live, for sure. Donna says she's learned that there are 2 types of fear: a true awareness of danger, and then a fear based in a belief system. Yeah, for sure. So much of our fear is projecting out to the future what might happen. And it's almost like, I heard it described as thinking of the worst case scenario, like using our imagination to create something that makes us feel horrible. Rather than using our imagination to create something amazing. So it's kind of like a misuse of our imagination. And there's true danger that's designed to get us out of, trouble. But a lot of our fear is based on our beliefs. Thanks for sharing, Donna. Next question is, what has changed that you don't want to go back to? What has changed that you don't want to go back to? I definitely want to go back to in-person events. That's something that is on the cards for me and my community in 21 as soon as we're allowed safely. But what I don't want to go back to is, I guess, just limiting it to in-person events and not having that ability for people to be on Zoom and benefit. So I think what's going to happen next year for a lot of events is hybrid, you know, online and in person, which I think is a beautiful thing. So I'm looking forward to working all of that out and how to have, I'm going to be having more boardroom style in-person events next year, and also having them on Zoom so that they can all be recorded and other people can benefit from them. So that's a bit of a challenging question for some of you. What has changed that you don't want to go back to? Caroline says working full-time for someone else. So true. So good, Caroline. You never have to do that again. Donna, in this, I've learned to set boundaries with difficult people. I don't want to go back to lack of boundaries. So good. Yeah. Awesome. Good on you, Donna. Boundary work is not easy. Josh says, I don't want to go back to peak hour commuting. Yes, absolutely. I don't want to go back to constantly battling traffic and all of that stuff. It's been really, you know, nice to have a change from that. Okay, next question. What is one of your highlights? This is a similar question, but what is one of your highlights of the year? Just one of your highlights. I've got so many, but I think one of my highlights was my birthday. I got thoroughly spoiled and it was just absolutely amazing. So what was one of your highlights? What is or what was? Not sure. What is one of your highlights? Love to hear those of you on live. If you're watching the replay, by the way, just hashtag replay and share the answer to these questions, because I will be going back and looking at all of them. So please do respond to these questions even if you are on the replay. So what is one of your highlights? All right, number 9 is, what is one of your happiest moments? What was one of your happiest moments in 2020? Just a time where you laughed and laughed and laughed and couldn't control yourself. Maybe you're doing one of those belly laughs or sounding like Precious Pup like I do. Donna says meeting so many fantastic people online. Me too. Such beautiful people online, seeing the support of everybody, seeing how much people stepped out and came together and bonded, and the innovation and the creativity of humans is absolutely incredible. Amazing. Josh says Kat's birthday. So nice. All right, question 9. Sorry, that was question 9. And then question 10, what advice would you give to 2019? What advice would you give to yourself in 2019 if you could go back? What advice would you give to yourself in 2019 if you could go back, knowing what you now know? What advice would you give yourself? I think I would tell myself to be prepared for anything, to appreciate everything, because anything can just be taken away in a moment. So share in the comments, and I'm just gonna put them all together so that you can copy and paste these, take yourself on a date and answer these questions in more detail, like thoroughly. So I'm just going to put them all together now. Please feel free to share the answers to these questions. Keep them coming, people. Hello, everybody who's just joined us. So if you've just joined us, I'm going through 10 different questions that you can reflect on. So I'm going to be posting them all in the comments, all in a row, so that you can reflect back on them. I do encourage you to do this in a group as well. Like, take your time to do it in a group or take yourself out on a private little date with yourself and reflect. I also do this on my website, so I write a review every year, and I find that that's it's almost like a bit of a cathartic process to have that commitment to doing that every single year. So feel free to go in and have a read on my website if you want just some ideas on how to do your review. And just posting that here. I think I had, oh yeah, I thought I had 11 questions. So how have you grown personally? Have you grown professionally? Okay, cool. That makes up the 10. All right, so the 10 questions are reflection questions are now in the comments box. So Donna says, no matter what happens, you will get through it. Val says, be kinder. Yeah, nice. Thank you so much for sharing. So if you didn't catch the beginning, I gave you a few different ideas for how you can reflect, and then 10 different questions you can ask yourself. So I just want to say a massive thank you for all of you who show up and support the Facebook Lives. I think I've done 50 Facebook Lives this year, every Wednesday at 8 o'clock. I think I missed one for a migraine, but I'm just going to be showing up in 2021. There will be some changes in my business, which I'll share with you next year. So in the next video, which will be in 3 weeks' time, we'll be doing future visioning for 21. So I'd love you to join me then. In the meantime, Merry Christmas. Have a wonderful, Happy New Year. A very, very prosperous 2021. And please take a well-deserved rest, like fully rest, deeply rest, have fun with your friends and family. No matter what's going on around you in the world, remember, you get to choose your feelings. Your feelings are not dictated by circumstances, they're dictated by your thinking. So if you're not enjoying how you're feeling, then it always comes back to your thoughts. And when we control our thoughts, we control our life. So Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, have an abundant, prosperous season, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you, everybody. Thanks. Bye.